This is a release on the life I should have had. There's an idea that the life you've got is not the one that you should have had. A sense that somehow you've missed the life that you should have had. It'll be something went wrong. Something didn't happen that's created the life you've got instead of the life that you should have had, could have had. Like if I'd been the ideal version of Sally, I would have a different life. But as it was, I'm the kind of faulty, defective version that I find myself to be. And so I didn't get the life, the idealized life that the idealized Sally would have got. It's sort of amusing, but it's also extremely painful. And the worst thing about it is that it keeps you very, very stuck. Because it's like being in a permanent state of grief. So let's release on the life you could have had you been the person that you should have been. So just welcome, allow whatever's come up in response to what I've just said. This idea of the ideal life, the ideal version of yourself that hasn't materialized. And just allowing that to be here. Allowing yourself to respond to that or have some kind of reaction to that. Maybe you should have got a better partner, got a partner at all. You should be living somewhere nicer. You should have more friends, have a more comfortable life, have a better career. I mean, the list can really be quite endless, but that'll give you a flavor for what kind of things might come up. Should have started a business, should have been an artist, should have been a writer. So do bear with this process because often the first steps can actually make you feel worse. But bear with it and we'll get beyond that. So just welcoming, allowing, or even just acknowledging all the responses that come up to I should have a better life. I could have had a better life. I should have a better life. Things should be better for me. I should have been a better person. Just allowing that to be here. And welcome any emotional responses to that, any feelings that are coming up. Just whatever's here is welcome here. I should have a better life. And just allow it as best you can. Just to be here. Any feelings of grief or sadness or just whatever's here is welcome. And sometimes there's also some just cut-offness when you do a release that you just think, oh, I don't want to face this. You might just have a sort of distance or a slightly going elsewhere. And again, it's all welcome. So just allowing yourself any response you have to a better life. And just allow any wanting to do something with or about whatever's come up into consciousness. Wanting to explain it, wanting to deny it, wanting to hold on to it, wanting to get rid of it. So just all of that, whatever's come up for you, just allowing it to be here. All your responses to could have had a better life. And all that the mind is trying to do with your responses to that concept. Just allowing it to be here. And so what we're going to do next, we're going to jump into that life that you should have or could have had. So what would be here now? What would you be feeling? What would you be sensing? What would you have had you achieved that life that you should have? What would you have? How would you feel right now if you had this ideal life? We want to bring it really clearly into consciousness. I mean, for some people, imagining things is much easier than it is for others. So whatever's available to you, even if it's just a daydream or a sensation or just a picture in your mind, something you've seen in a magazine even, and just allowing it, that perfect life, the life you should have had, to be present, to be here. And welcome any reactions you have to that. There may be some resistance to creating these images in mind. There may be some resistance to even thinking about it. Or there may be quite a pleasant daydream, a little foray into this perfect life. Maybe you're at a beach or a very attractive partner who's wonderful and kind, have an amazing job, everyone loves you. Whatever's come up in response to this ideal life. But what's interesting is what very often happens is that there's nothing there. The discomfort of that feeling is actually coming from the lack, from the wanting, from the dissatisfaction with how things have turned out for you. And so we can feel that very strongly. I don't like this, I don't like that, I should have had a better job, I should have had this, should have had that. That we can feel very strongly. But often when we ask ourselves, well, what do you want? But instead of feeling like we have to turn that into a goal straight away, which will cause a resistance, we're just letting the mind free wheel. Like, what would this perfect life look like? How would it be? How would I feel? What would I have? We often find that although there are some nice pictures, mine's of a border collie, I love border collies, don't have one. It's not as solid as we might think. And it's certainly not solid enough to be a counter to the discomfort that comes from thinking, believing that we should have had a different life. So we'll go back and release, not on the life we should have had, but on the feelings of dissatisfaction with what we have got. So could you allow yourself to be as dissatisfied as you are right now, as you are or have been with life? With your life as it is? And just allowing dissatisfaction, and allow yourself to complain about what's not going right for you, what you don't like, and the things that you want to be better. And just allow all of those thoughts, feelings, sensations, emotions, pictures, just allow all of those to be here. So allowing yourself simply to make a list of everything you're dissatisfied with and just allow it to be here. And then allow yourself to want things to be different. And allow yourself also to want things to stay the same. So could you allow that list of complaints or discomforts? It's like a knotted ball it can be in the mind and body. Could you allow that to be as compelling as it is? Could you allow yourself to be as attached to that as you are or as you have been? This idea of being dissatisfied, of not getting what you want. Could you allow yourself to be as attached to that as is true for you? Something compulsive or compelling about that idea of dissatisfaction, of not getting what you want. And just also acknowledge yourself that releasing like this takes quite a lot of courage, because it's not easy to allow those feelings, contradictory feelings, to be felt and to come into consciousness. So just acknowledge there's a lot of courage in releasing like this. So just allowing that dissatisfaction to be as attractive or compelling as it has been, or as it still is, however it is for you right now. Simply allowing it. Perhaps it's compelling because it's familiar, or it might be a leftover from being taught that if you can suffer enough that you'll get to the end of suffering, or if you punish yourself enough that somehow you'll be able to find a solution. These strange ideas that we're brought up with as children, as we're made to feel bad when we've done something bad, and then we get into this cycle of thinking that there's something useful about feeling bad, which of course in some contexts there is. It's good to feel bad if you've pissed somebody off, because then it gives you the motivation to fix it. But when it becomes this chronic feeling of badness that becomes quite paralyzing, it's not useful at all. And while we know that, we need processes to work through it and get beyond it. So welcoming how compulsive or attractive this dissatisfaction is or has been. And then welcome the other side, how irritated or repulsed you are by the idea that you're stuck in this mode of dissatisfaction. And again, repulsion's quite a strong word in there, but it's useful because this is the kind of behavior that often leads to some real self-hatred. And so we use these strong word so that we can really get to that feeling of being more than a dislike for this compulsion to feel negative or defeated, all the things that aren't allowed in the self-help world. And all the things we know aren't really useful, but we end up doing them anyway. So just allowing yourself to feel as much dislike or even repulsion as you do for this tendency to get locked into these feelings of dissatisfaction, defeat. And just allow them to be here. Imagine there's no rules about what you're allowed to feel, what you're not allowed to feel. Simply allow. However you feel, however you're perceiving this, whatever's happening in mind and body, simply allow it to be here. And then allow this state to be quite compelling again, this state of complaining or dissatisfaction, allowing that to be like a force that attracts you. Just as allowing that to be as it is. And then to the other side, allow yourself to be as irritated, dissatisfied, and even repulsed by that tendency as is true for you in this moment. And then could you welcome how personal all of this feels? That it's something you do, that it's especially difficult for you to deal with this stuff. And just allow it to feel as personal as it does. Any sense that it's more difficult for you than for others, that it's more stuck in you than it is for others, or even that it's had a greater impact on your life than it has done for other people. All of that is welcome here. So welcome this sense of the personal, which also quickly leads to a sense of isolation, that you're on your own with this. Nobody really gets it. And just open to that as best you can and allow those feelings, those ideas, that experience just to be welcomed into the vast space of consciousness. There's plenty of room for it. It's all welcome here. And just allowing any sense of isolation that's appeared along with this feeling that it's personal and it's difficult for you. It's all welcome. And then just check in, see how you're doing. And if there's any remnant still of that feeling of dissatisfaction, of another life, could you just allow yourself just to be just as you are, wherever you've got to with this release, whatever impact it's had on you? Could that just be just as it is, here and now? And could you just leave yourself and your life alone? Could you just let them be? That they don't need a running commentary or criticism. They can just be. Your mind can have a rest. Everyone can have a rest. Just letting yourself be and allow, however true that is for you, just to settle. Just leaving yourself be just as you are. And allow the mind to quieten down. Take a break. And just let you be. So thank you. As always, I really hope it helped.